I'm Stuart Lee.
I'm called Richard Herring. Welcome to the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival in Montreal. It's quite good, isn't it, Stu?
Well, we don't know. It could be, because all we've done since we got here is sit in this flat watching videos of past performances at the festival.
I like that, Stu. I like the flickering colours. It's good.
Well, this week our archive performances are all dealing with the subject of race and religion.
And we're going to be interviewing a famous Jewish man. That's the millionaire comedian David Baddiel, who you'll probably remember from his famous double act with Michael Gove on Channel 4's A Stab in the Dark.
That's right. But religion, is it really a good subject?
Stupid religion, Stu. I hate it. I hate religion. Just think about it for a second. It's obviously not true, is it? There can't be a God.
Yeah, but I agree with you. But
No, there isn't a God, Stu, because, you know, if I was God, right, I wouldn't waste my time making a big universe full of stupid people and then reward the most smug and stupid person for believing in me when I obviously don't exist. No! I'd make a huge cheese toasty sandwich, massive, with pickle, and then I'd stay in bed all day, making my own amusement, if you know what I mean. No, or if I was a Canadian God, I'd make a huge Canadian muffin. The principle's the same. But look, Stu, look around ye. Do you see a massive cheese toasty sandwich anywhere? No. Do you see a big Canadian muffin?
No, I don't.
So God doesn't exist. Quid pro quo.
What do you mean quid pro quo?
Quid pro
Surely
quo.
you mean quadirat demonstratum.
I'm God. Words mean whatever I want them to.
All right, OK. Race and religion. Anyway, look out in this clip's coming up. Look out for a genuinely amusing German.
No, surely not. Does he kill anyone?
No, he doesn't.
I can't
And then
believe it.
following that, the UK's own gorgeous Caroline Ahern before she became famous.
Yeah, Mrs. Merton's here again, and she's dressed as a nun. Hot. It was a bit scary there.
I know, he hates the Mexicans.
God, they must be
He
scared.
hates the world, he hates everything. And in fact, it's really scary because we've got to interview him in the last show.
No!
Look at that. Terrifying. It's like the way we're building up the tension.
It's quite good. It's like
a trailer for a scary film. I need that money, Tom. Anyway, you were talking there before, right, how if you were God, you'd make a cheese toasted sandwich, right? So you're saying if you were God, all you'd make in your universe, Rich, is some cheese, some bread...
And some pickle.
And some pickle.
And some muffin mix if it was a Canadian God.
And a muffin mix, yeah. And a Breville sandwich toaster.
Obviously, you need that.
And a piece of old rag.
And I'd need a laundrette to wash my bed sheets, so in case any pickle or muffin mix fell on them, obviously. And a man to run the laundrette for me, because I wouldn't want to do that. And some money to operate the machines with.
Yeah, but if you were God, couldn't you just make some machines that didn't need change?
No, because the man in the laundrette needs money. He doesn't need to buy things. Think about it. Think, Lee. What do you think?
You're thinking too literally.
No. And he'd need some soap powder and a wife to help him with the laundry. It's quite a hard job, Stu. He needs 2 people and a house for them to live in when they're not washing stuff. Yeah. And another laundrette for them to go to because they don't want to wash their own stuff at work, do they? That would be rubbish. And actually thinking about it, you start to see how it all gets out of hand, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can see, can't you? God probably started off with a really simple system like you, and it just grew from there.
Yeah, I've revised my opinion, Stu. God definitely exists. He is wondrous to behold. Let his love shine down on every corner of the world.
Okay.
He's wonderful to behold.
Anyway, coming up is Phil Kay.
He's from Scotland. Well, if he was a god, he'd probably make a giant piece of shortbread.
Yeah, or a massive haggis.
Yeah, or a deep-fried pizza.
Something Scottish, basically.
Or maybe some other food, you know. They eat other stuff there now as well. He's not from medieval times.
Hi, welcome back to the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival here in Montreal. I'm Stuart Lee.
I'm called Richard Herring.
Now, in the first half of the show, we looked at a load of clips of comedians talking about race and religion, the latter of which is particularly pointless, given that there's no Jesus, obviously, and there's no point in giving him the oxygen of publicity.
You can't say that, Stu.
I just did say
There is historical proof that Jesus is the real Son of God, and I believe in him, and anyone who doesn't is silly, as far as I'm concerned. And you should be careful what you say about him, Stu, because Jesus is everywhere. He can hear what you say. He's everywhere. Yeah. He's in the wind, he's in the rain, he's in the airing cupboard, he's hiding behind the boiler, just looking over. He's in space, he's everywhere.
He's in outer space.
He is, Stu. He's in Inner Space, that film with Martin Short in it.
What, is he here in Canada, is he?
He is, Stu. He has to be everywhere. That's being in Canada is part of his job.
He must be a bit bored.
Well, he is, Stu. Obviously, he'd rather be in America with Disneyland on the rides and stuff.
Yeah.
And he is, but he still quite likes Canada. You know, he likes the muffins, Stu. They're delicious.
Doesn't like muffins.
He does like muffins. It's in the Bible, Stu. After Mary Magdalene washes Jesus' feet, he gives her a muffin.
Crazy if you guessed, it's from England. England's David Baddiel.
Hello.
David?
Yes.
You know that David Baddiel?
Yes.
That's you, that is.
I see what you've taken my catchphrase and you've kind of rebounded it on me.
Against you. I bet you regret making that up now, don't you?
No, it made me a lot of money.
Oh,
and we've struggled for ages to think of some original questions to ask you, because obviously having done a lot of stand-up ourselves, we've done interviews and you get tired of the same old things.
Yeah.
So we put a bit of thought into this, and first up, can you tell us where do you get your crazy ideas from?
God, that is an original question. God, I'll have to think, because I really haven't been asked it before.
I'm not really a practicing Jew. There is one of the Old Testament commandments that I do live my life by very stringently, and that is I never, ever covet my neighbour's ox. Never. And he's got a fucking nice one as well.
You don't just do stand-up, though, you do other things as well, don't you? So what do you prefer doing? Do you prefer doing stand-up or other things?
Well, sometimes I like doing stand-up, and sometimes I like doing other things.
Would you say you're a new lad?
I suppose I am, in some respects, a new lad.
You like pornography, don't you?
That's the real questions. Please get to the real questions. Because we had this idea that this would be funny, and it is funny, but it's actually depressed me now. That's the thing.
I'm an insomniac. Got any insomniacs in tonight? Yeah, they're like going, yeah. I tell you, I don't know if this is true for you, but if you ever tell anyone you've got insomnia, they'll always say the same thing. They'll always go, oh, really? Because I'm always asleep as soon as my head hits the pillow. Thanks for that, that's great, OK? If someone comes up to me and tells me, like, you know, that they're blind, I don't say, oh, really, because I can see perfectly.
OK, well, what were you doing there? He was at home, is asking David perhaps the worst questions we could think of. But now, the real questions.
Now it's time for the real
earlier on we asked you, for a joke, we asked you where you get your crazy ideas from.
Yeah. Where do you get your crazy ideas?
Where do you get them from, really? Where do you really get them from?
Oh, you're not going to move away from it. That's terrible for me.
Get that.
OK.
This is a real
This is a real question.
Who is the best comedian novelist? You, Stephen Fry, or Hugh Laurie?
Me?
We saw your mum at Wembley pointing at you and saying, there's my son and stuff. Is that, you know, she got a lot of input into your gigs from the audience?
My mother, she's a classic Jewish mother. My mother is the sort of woman who, if I fell into a river, would shout, help, come quick, my son, who went to Oxford University, is drowning.
Which is the first time that she came to my recent talk, because there was a pint of beer on stage, and because I'm a new lad, the audience egged me on to drink the pint of beer in one go on stage, because that's what we new lads have to do.
Yeah.
So I drank the pint of beer in one go. As I put it down, I heard my mum shout out, I hope you've had something to eat tonight. But she does come to a lot of the gigs. But Richard looks a bit like Jesus now, and therefore he could be Jesus of Montreal, which is a joke that I made in the bar, but they're now doing it on stage. But having said that, I do a joke about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Do it now, and I bet they'll laugh at home.
At home?
Yeah.
OK. Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Is PFK here, isn't it?
Because everything here has to be in French, right?
KFC
is KFC
everywhere in the
world.
KFC
is KFC
in France.
So I think PFK...
That stands for
Petty
French
Canadians. Now, I'll tell you, that gets a big round of applause in Canada. And it's died here. I didn't do it very well, though, did I? I didn't do it with a real verb.
I helped make that up.
Yeah, he did.
I thought that KFC stuff was really funny.
Yeah, no, it goes really well.
You're normally doing, like, tours at home to big theatres full of people that already know you. So what's it like coming back and starting again in front of strangers?
Yeah, it's really rubbish, is what it is.
Is it? It's terrible, isn't it?
Bollocks. Why am I doing this? Well, I have people who come at home, and they're my friends already. They love me already, and that's much easier.
I find it more interesting, especially when we're in Adelaide, where no one knows where we are. Yeah, I found it quite good, because it proves, if you make them laugh, it proves that you actually are funny, rather than just going, that's you, that is. Like,
that's
you still all the time.
All the time, that's all I do, yes.
I am 100% Jewish in every respect. My best friend is half Jewish. He's got a two skin.
The thing I don't understand about Jews, though, is why don't they believe that Jesus is God? Could you explain
why
that?
should I believe in Jesus?
Because it says in the Bible that he is God.
Right.
Thank you very much for coming in. It's David, 3 lines on a shirt, Baddiel. Thank
you very much.
Now, imagine this muffin is the universe, Stu, all right? Now, look, it didn't just pop out of nowhere, did it? It was created by a Canadian. I'm not saying the universe is created by a Canadian, but the principle's the same.
It makes sense, Rich. Look at the facts. Scientists say the universe took 16 billion years to create. Bible says 6 days. Doesn't add up.
Well, 6 days, 16 billion years. What's the difference?
The difference is 15,999,999,999 years, and then 359 days. Or 360 days if it was a leap year. That's the difference.
You're just splitting hairs, Stu. When a Christian says day, he just means a length of time.
Well, it must be difficult arranging to meet them.
It is, but you know, you wouldn't want to, would you?
Look, anyway, look, God doesn't exist, Jesus doesn't exist, and he doesn't like muffins. That's the facts
He
of it.
can't not exist and not. How can, if he doesn't exist, how can he not like
Look,
something,
I'm not going to
Stu?
sit here and debate this with you. Thanks very much. See you next time.
Think about it. Jesus is
Leave
real,
it.
Stu, because you've just admitted it. And if Jesus doesn't exist, who threw the tables over in the moneylenders?
I don't know, the
temple?
wind blew them or something.
They can't. It was Jesus.